This time, the G20 meeting turned out to be widely used by the West and America, of course, to direct G20 members. To isolate white G20's suddenly becoming a geopolitical forum by framing the attack on Ukraine is a grave sin. We cannot remain silent about this. Don't turn the G20 summit event into a political arena. What is the proof that the G20 forum is used by the US to become a world political event, not an economic forum? Yesterday, November 12, 2002, before the G20 event in Bali, the American delegation led directly by Joe Biden held a meeting with ASEAN heads of state at the United States-ASEAN Summit at the Soka Hotel, Phnom Penh, Cambodia. The event prior to the Bali G20 summit was the event that was made by America to lead opinion to isolate Russia. Because of that, the Russian delegation led by the foreign minister was angry.
Thank you very much. It's wonderful that we gather with all of you again. This is my third US-ASEAN Summit in my presidency, and I was honored to host at the White House in May. And now that we are back together here in Cambodia, I look forward to building even stronger progress than we've already made. And I want to thank the Prime Minister for Colombia's leadership in the ASEAN chair and for hosting all of us. And also I want to recognize that we're going to be in all the work that Indonesia has done this year. Mr. President, thank you very much. And as the country coordinator for the United States.
Against America. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, who led the Russian delegation at the G20 Summit International meeting, who was also present in Phnom Penh, said the West was trying to militarize Southeast Asia to restrain the interests of Russia and China in the Southeast Asian region. This statement became a new stage of confrontation between Russia and the inner West. G20 meeting in Bali. Ukraine seems to be the main issue Western leaders openly criticize. Russia's invasion of Ukraine and pressure on China and India. Sergei Lavrov also criticized the steps of the United States in the Southeast Asian region, which will become a place for strategic competition in the coming years between the West and the East, namely Russia and China. For this reason, America and its NATO allies are trying to become masters in the ASEAN and G20 summit rooms in Bali, said Sergei Lavrov, even though neither America nor Russia are members of ASEAN. Ahead of the G20 meeting in Bali, this will become the source of the problem at the G20, of course. In the two clashes of Western and Eastern hegemony, Moscow depicts Russia, China as the leader of the global resistance versus the domination of the United States and the West on the international stage. Because of that, America and the West consider China-Russia is the second global main threat. Again, we ask, what is Indonesia's strategy as the host to block the G20 event? And it was taken over by the American side to become a forum, not an economic one, but a political forum. We all know America's strategy is that Putin must not come to the G20. Later it may not produce any communication because it is carried away by problems in the world. What America wants to conquer is the petro-yuan between Saudi and China. America's first strategy to take control of the G20 summit is not to present Putin, by bringing American military power near Australia and the Indonesian Sea. Putin's security is being threatened. It's better if Putin doesn't come. We will detail what will happen at the G20 summit, where this can become a benchmark for whether the world is really in recession in 2023. Or turning upside down to improve. This is important to understand for successful steps going forward. So what is the G20 and Summit? G20. The G20 or G20 group or group of 20 is a group consisting of 19 countries with the world's largest economies plus one intergovernmental and supranational organization. Namely, the European Union is officially the G20, called the Group of 25.
Joe Biden ប្រធានាធិបតីនៃសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកព្រះចៅស៊ូតង់ឯកឧត្តមថ្នាក់ដឹកនាំនៃបណ្ដាប្រទេសអាស៊ានឯកឧត្តមលោកជំទាវអស់លោកលោកស្រីជាកិច្ចចាប់ផ្ដើម ខ្ញុំសូមសម្ដែងនូវការស្វាគមន៍យ៉ាងកក់ក្ដៅជូនចំពោះឯកឧត្តមប្រធានាធិបតីសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកព្រះចៅស៊ុលតង់ និងឯកឧត្តមថ្នាក់ដឹកនាំអាស៊ានដែលបានអញ្ជើញចូលរួមក្នុងកិច្ចប្រជុំកំពូលអាស៊ានសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកលើកទី10នាពេលនេះខ្ញុំពិតជាមានសេចក្តីសោមនស្សដែលយើងបានជួបជុំគ្នាដោយផ្ទាល់ចិត្ត3ម្ដងទៀតបន្ទាប់ពីការជួបជុំចុងក្រោយនៅក្នុងកិច្ចប្រជុំកំពូលពិសេសអាស៊ានសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកនៅរដ្ឋធានី Washington កាលពីខែឧសភាកន្លងទៅការរៀបចំព្រឹត្តិការណ៍ជាប្រវត្តិសាស្ត្រនេះបានឆ្លុះបញ្ចាំងឲ្យឃើញពីការបញ្ញាចិត្តរបស់សហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកក្រោមការដឹកនាំរបស់ឯកឧត្តម Joe Biden ក្នុងការគ្រប់គ្រងមកលើមិត្តភាពអាស៊ាននិងនិមានកម្មតំបន់ដែលផ្អែកលើច្បាប់ដែលរូបខ្ញុំផ្ទាល់យល់ថាពិតជាមានសារៈសំខាន់សម្រាប់ការរក្សាសន្តិភាពនិងស្ថិរភាពនៅក្នុងតំបន់ទន្ទឹមនេះដែរការគ្រប់គ្រងនិងការចូលរួមរបស់សហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកនៅក្នុងដំណើរការនៃការកសាងសហគមន៍អាស៊ានពិតជាមានសារៈសំខាន់ជាពិសេសក្នុងបរិយាកាសនៃការជំរុញការស្ដារអាស៊ានឡើងវិញចេញពីវិបត្តិ COVID-19 ការពង្រឹងភាពធន់នៅក្នុងតំបន់ព្រមទាំងការដោះស្រាយបញ្ហាប្រឈមចម្បងរួមមានការប្រែប្រួលអាកាសធាតុសន្តិសុខស្បៀងអាហារនិងធម្មពលជាដើមព្រះចៅស៊ុលតង់ឯកឧត្តមលោកជំទាវដោយដែលយើងបានពិភាក្សាគ្នានៅរដ្ឋធានី Washington ថ្នាក់ដឹកនាំអាស៊ានទាំងអស់ដែលមានវត្តមាននៅទីនេះសម្ដែងនូវការបញ្ញាចិត្តក្នុងការពង្រឹងទំនាក់ទំនងរវាងអាស៊ានសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកទៅជាដៃគូយុទ្ធសាស្ត្រគ្រប់ជ្រុងជ្រោយដោយត្រូវបានរំលេចនៅក្នុងសេចក្តីថ្លែងការណ៍ចក្ខុវិស័យរួមនៃកិច្ចប្រជុំកំពូលពិសេសអាស៊ានសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកដើម្បីរំលឹកខួបលើកទី45ឆ្នាំនៃទំនាក់ទំនងដៃគូសន្តិនិកអាស៊ានសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកខ្ញុំរំពឹងថាកិច្ចប្រជុំកំពូលនាថ្ងៃនេះនឹងមានការផ្លាស់ប្ដូរមតិយោបល់ល្អៗហើយខ្ញុំជឿជាក់ថាស្មារតីរួមគ្នាធ្វើរបស់យើងនឹងអាចនាំមកនូវលទ្ធផលជាក់ស្ដែងសម្រាប់ការពង្រឹងបន្ថែមទៀតនៅចំណងមិត្តភាពអាស៊ានសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកក្នុងរយៈពេលជាច្រើនឆ្នាំទៅខាងមុខទៀតជាបន្តទៅទៀតសូមជូនវេទិកាជូនឯកឧត្តម Joe Biden ប្រធានាធិបតីសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកថ្លែងសន្ទនាការបាន
Thank you very much. It's wonderful that we gather with all of you again. This is my third US-ASEAN Summit in my presidency, and I was honored to host at the White House in May. And now that we are back together here in Cambodia, I look forward to building even stronger progress than we've already made. And I want to thank the Prime Minister for Colombia's leadership in the ASEAN chair and for hosting all of us. And also I want to recognize that we're going to be in all the work that Indonesia has done this year, Mr. President. Thank you very much. And as the country coordinator for the United States. And in fact, this is, as I said, my third trip, my third summit, second in person, and it's testament to the importance the United States places in our relationship with ASEAN and our commitment to ASEAN centrality. ASEAN is the heart of my administration's Indo-Pacific strategy, and we continue to strengthen our commitment to work in lockstep with an empowered, unified ASEAN. Today, we take another critical step, beginning a new era in our cooperation with the launch of the US-ASEAN Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. Together, we will tackle the biggest issues of our time, from climate to health security, defend against the significant threats of rule-based order and to threats to the rule of law, and to build an Indo-Pacific that's free and open, stable and prosperous, resilient and secure. And we're putting real resources behind our approach, not just rhetoric. Over the last year, my administration has announced more than $250 million in new initiatives with ASEAN. And for 2023, I've requested $850 million in assistance for Southeast Asia. We're continuing to build on that progress, following through on our commitments and launching concrete new initiatives that further strengthen ASEAN and increase connectivity across Southeast Asia. Though through our new US-ASEAN electric vehicle infrastructure initiative, we're going to work together to develop an integrated electric vehicle ecosystem in Southeast Asia, enabling the region to pursue clean energy economic development and ambitious emissions reduction targets. Similarly, we're launching a US-ASEAN platform for infrastructure and connectivity to bring the benefits of the Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment to the ASEAN countries. Through this platform, we'll develop projects together based on the needs you identify to create sustainable, high-standard infrastructure that supports the people of the region. We will build the better future we all say we want to see and we're going to see for all 1 billion people in our countries. We'll also discuss Russia's brutal war against Ukraine and our efforts to address the war's global impacts, including in Southeast Asia. So I look forward to continuing our work together with the ASEAN and with each one of you to deepen peace and prosperity throughout the region, to resolve challenges from the South China Sea to Myanmar, and to find innovative new solutions to shared challenges. Thank you again for the 45 years of partnership between ASEAN and the United States, and for all that we can accomplish together. Thank you.
សូមអរគុណអាដាមធានាធិបតីជាបន្តសូមអញ្ជើញអ្នកសារព័ត៌មានចាក់ចេញពីសាលប្រជុំ